guys, welcome and welcome back again to my channel. My name is Oyinkwan. If it's your first time stopping by, then you baby are most definitely welcome. Now today's video is going to be a Q&A session because I asked you guys on my community tab, and if you don't look up my community tab, then you should definitely do, because there I feel like we get to chat and all of that. But I asked you guys on my community tab to ask me some questions so that grandma can answer the questions, me and grandma can talk about them, and you guys came through. I decided to keep it YouTube specific. I usually do my Q&A sessions on Instagram and YouTube, but I decided to keep it YouTube specific so that, because you guys are like the real MVP. So anyways, I'm going to pass the mic over to grandma so she can introduce herself.
Hi, wonderful people. This feels strange because it's like I'm talking to myself, but then, hello, wonderful people. My name is Grandma Aderunke. I'm Oyikon's mom. I came all the way from Nigeria. When I want to say Nigeria, as regards this context, I'll be saying Africa.
With an R.
Africa. I came all the way from Nigeria to visit and see my baby. Anolu Akitonlayemi Summer.
Mama,
Say hello to
say
everybody.
hello, mama. Mama. She's not in the mood.
No, she's not.
She's not. Usually she's more smiley, but she's not in the mood. Anyways, we're going to jump right into the video without much talking. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Subscribe. Give the video a massive thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
You guys, I noticed that the view to thumbs up ratio is not, the math is not mathing. Do you understand? The math is not mathing. So please give the video a massive thumbs up if you end up enjoying it. And yeah. But first, let's give a big thank you to the sponsors of today's video. And this video is kindly sponsored by Amber. Now, Amber is an accommodation booking platform where students can book accommodation from the comfort of their homes. All you have to do is go onto the Amber student website and look for the accommodation of your choice using either the name of your school or the town that your school is located in. Amber is located in a variety of countries in Europe. So we're talking the United Kingdom, Italy, France, Germany, and so many more, as well as the United States of America and Australia. So as long as you're in any of those places, best believe that Amber has something for you. We all know how stressful moving to a new country as an international student can be, and we definitely don't want to add accommodation stress to the problems that you have to deal with as an international student, which is why Amber is very dear to me, because they fix this fundamental issue of a housing crisis that many international students face. All you have to do is literally find the accommodation that you want and get your booking done. They also have 24/7 customer service representatives that are available to walk you through the process just in case you need any help. Isn't that amazing? You also don't have to worry about changing your mind, or if you can't go to school for whatever reason, maybe visa issues or whatever, because they have a very generous refund policy and you can be refunded if you need to be. So really, it's a win-win situation and you have nothing to lose. You can also filter for the accommodation you want based on either the city that you're going to, the prices, newly added, whatever rocks your boat really. You can filter the accommodation this way and find the one that best suits you. I really hope you end up taking advantage of this, because this is an amazing thing that Amber is doing here, and I'm very pleased to be associated with them. I really do hope you end up enjoying this service. The link to check them out is in my description box and in my comment section. Anyways, first question is from Sheon, and she says, first of all, how are you? How's Keaton baby? So my question is, what is that one thing you didn't like in mom but you appreciate it more as a mother now? First of all, how are you? I'm good. Thank you, Shion. Thanks for asking. Hi, Skiton. She's great, as you can see. She's doing well. She's distracted. I don't know what's distracting her. She's playing. But what is that one thing I didn't like in mom, but I appreciate it now more? I don't think there's anything I didn't like about you.
I was the perfect mom.
Oh my God. She said she was the perfect mom. I don't think there was anything I didn't like about her. Let me see. She wasn't too strict, to be honest. So I can't say that she used to flog or anything. She's not the strictest person in the world. If it was my dad, I would have had more to say.
Grandpapa Fora.
If it was my dad, I would have had more to say, because my dad was a very stern person. I mean, now he's older, so he's softer. But for my mom, there was nothing I didn't like about her like that. She was who she was, and she did her best. I appreciated her then. I appreciate her even more now, just because now I'm a mother and now I can see that
You can relate.
being a mom is not really the easiest task in the world.
But we thank God for grace.
We thank God for grace. We thank God for grace. Next question is, hey, pretty twinnies. Are we twins? Because we have gap teeth together, but our nose is different. I took my father's nose. That's why it's flat and wide. Anyways, hey, pretty twinnies. So, grandma, how did you feel when you were told your baby girl had to go under the knife?
Well, she kept me informed, and like a mother would, I prayed a lot about it. And the day she went under the knife, I prayed, and I just went up because faith, you have to faith everything. I prayed and I went about my normal duties. And when the call came that she had given birth, oh my God, that was when I knew that I had built up intention. Ah,
Did you cry?
I cried.
You did?
Relief. Yes.
Are you serious?
Oh, because I was doing
No, because no,
Superwoman.
I knew that she was tense, to be honest, because she was calling me every time. Like she'll call me every time. Have you packed your bag? Oh yeah, let me see your leg. I'm like, mommy, relax. This thing is just a cesarean, and you're putting, as you are under tension, you're putting me under tension.
And so I decided not to put you under tension, and I reserved the tension for myself.
Yeah.
It's okay. It all came out well.
So emotional. Anyways, she was very tense, I could tell. Obviously, you guys know that I was kind of breathless throughout the pregnancy. So she also got worried. So I know that she was worried baseline for like the bulk of the pregnancy because of the breathlessness. And then when my legs started swelling again, she was also worried. So when I told her that I was going to have the CS again, she even became more worried. So it was like built up worry, right?
Yes, it was.
Anyways, we're thankful to God that everything turned out well.
It ended in praise.
It did. That question was from Joanna. Next question is from Thelma Annie. Says you were in a relationship with hubby at quite a young age. What was her reaction when she found out?
Well, I didn't find out until a bit later.
Mommy.
No, I didn't find out when it started now. I knew of one, and that's stalker.
She knew of my first relationship, and I was like 16 at that time.
But because I know that you've been a good girl and you had values that you grew up with, I knew you wouldn't do anything terrible or bad. When you told me about the first stalker and I observed that he was talking, for goodness sake, it was during the first ASU strike, and this boy would call you like
1,000,000 times.
No, I'm not even exaggerating. He'll call like maybe 30 times inside 2 hours. I said, Oyinkan, this boy is a stalker. It's not a healthy thing. And when she told me that the relationship was over, of course, I was relieved. So I didn't know when her relationship with her husband started, but along the line, her siblings told me about it.
Is it Ikelma that told you?
More like Ayodeji.
Really?
Ayodeji told me about it, and we bantered on it, and he said he was a cool guy and it was okay. Then you told me about him, and I just, mother-daughter talk, be careful, don't compromise, etc. And well, I was okay because I know that your values are good. So I wasn't really bothered.
Yeah. Yeah. The moral lesson of the story is I'm a good girl.
Yeah, you are.
Our Missy says, yay, my suggestion was picked. It was picked. She was the one who suggested Honey Bunch as the name for the group. You guys should let me know if you like Honey Bunch as a name. Anyways, next question is from Gilbert Faith. And she says, what's her first impression of hobby? Love you. Mama, do you want to join this conversation? Because this is your talk. Opo.
She's discussing.
Opo, where you talk. Say your own. Say your own. Anyways, Gilbert Faith says, what's her first impression of hobby? Love you.
Oh, my first impression. I saw him from afar.
When?
UCH.
Okay.
Yes, I saw him from afar. That day I came with chin chin that
Ikelua
made. Yes, baked. I saw him from afar, and I was in my mind. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't really have an impression. It was just that he looked okay to me, and because I didn't interact with him, I couldn't really
Give a real impression.
I didn't have a real impression. But then as the years went by, because it was a long relationship, as the years went by, he came to Ado to visit
Visit,
us that
yes, yes,
Christmas.
yes.
Yes. And he seemed okay to me then. In my mind, I was like, okay, he seems from a good home. All those hidden questions that you would
Disguise.
disguise and
Let me
ask.
carry her. You can hold the mic.
Okay. Yeah, please be careful with her. So all those hidden questions that he passed everything, and uh, I just had a good opinion about him.
Yeah.
So when during Onyiko's house job, she came on her daddy's birthday and said, "Daddy, what do you think about me getting married this time next year?"
Is that what I said?
Yes,
I
on
can't
his
even
birthday.
remember.
And it was going to be to Tolu. I said, well, it's a good one. So, yes.
Oh, oh. Next question is from the Vanessa, and she asks, "How did your mom feel seeing you as you were YouTubing and also practicing medicine?"
I didn't understand. I really still don't understand the concept of you talking to yourself, YouTubing, because that's how I see her vlogging every time, and it's a bit strange to me. So when she told me that she wanted to start YouTube, she had started some vlogging before now. So when she told me that she wanted to start YouTube, I said it was okay, because one thing I've noticed about Onyiko is that she can multitask, and she multitasks well. Nothing has to suffer at the expense of the other. So when she told me she would be YouTubing and all, I asked her what it was, and she tried her best to explain to me. So when her first video came out, she told me it was about clicks and likes. I wish I could like more than once.
Oh,
And then when her first video came out, I must have watched that video
one
about
million
a
times.
thousand
And
times.
honestly, this is even the way it is up till now. She watches my one video like 50 million times
Really.
if she can.
And I asked her, does every watch count for a watch? She said, well, sometimes. So my three phones, I watch her videos around the three phones, and we have to have watches.
We have to have
And
watches.
thumbs up, please.
And
Thumbs
thumbs up,
up.
please.
Yes.
Thank you. Next question is from Thelma Annie, and she asks, "The gap tooth too should reach Kiki too." I agree. I hope it reaches her so that it will be the three of us with our gap tooth together. She says, "What are the lessons she has learned from marriage and will want the younger generation to know? How did she feel when she was not with you during your delivery?"
Okay, two questions. The lessons I've learned in marriage. The very first one is that you have to be patient. Patience is everything. It solves a lot of problems. And I wasn't one to be patient when I got married initially. I had this habit of disagreeing vehemently and shaking my head along with my disagreements. But along as the years rolled by, I've been married now for 30 years. As the years rolled by, I just discovered that patience really truly is a virtue. And if you are patient, every other thing falls in place. That's number one. Number two, your husband should allow your husband, allow him.
Allow him be a husband.
Yes, allow him be a husband. Let him husband you. It makes everything simpler. And then number three, of course, and the most important thing is that God should be the pivot of the home.
So she says, "How did you feel when she was not with you during your delivery?"
I was a bit apprehensive. I was a bit apprehensive, like I said before. And well, the space was filled with calls and prayers. And at the end of the day,
Everything turned out well.
premium praise.
Yeah, so we thank God about that. Next question is from Mabel's Corner, and she asks, "I see the gap tooth on you and your mom. What was her take on living in Nigeria versus the UK for you guys, especially with regards to raising children?"
God bless Nigeria. Nigeria happens, And when Nigeria happens, you really don't have a choice.
Mm.
May Nigeria not happen to us.
Amen.
I've been hearing stories, I've been reading in the news information here and there, and they've not really been good per se. So when she told me about relocating and what it would entail, I supported her 100%.
Because I
It
already knew that I wanted to do this before I graduated from
Yes,
university.
it wasn't even a maybe or maybe not thing. It was that immediately after, in fact, the plan was even
Before
before
NYSC.
NYSC,
That
and
was the plan.
yes, that was the
But my
plan.
dad was like, no, 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 you must do NYSC first. Again, remember I told you that my dad is quite stern. So this is an example of, because left to my mom, she was like, okay, no problem. If you don't want to do NYSC, no problem. But my daddy said, why would you say that? She would do NYSC.
NYSC has to be done. You have to serve your fatherland.
So how did you now feel? What's the difference between with regards to raising children? Because I think that's a specific question that the person is asking.
We all know that in Nigeria, a community raises your child for you, and your child is everybody's child in Nigeria, so to say. Here, with what I've seen so far, you mind your business, and if you are dying and you don't call for help, nobody looks at you. In regards to raising children, well, I think with raising children, it's going to be taken one day at a time. I am not averse to raising children in the UK, neither am I averse to raising children in Nigeria. But the bottom line in everything is that I feel that there are so many permissive things here in the UK. They allow things, and
Especially with regards to children, and their minds are so malleable. When you allow things like that, it can be a bit somehow. You will be sent to Africa. Africa.
I won't even hear of it.
Anyways, God will just give wisdom, really. But we'll just take it one step at a time, to be honest, because it would be foolish to not acknowledge the differences between raising your child here and raising your child in Nigeria. It would be foolish for you not to acknowledge those differences. But at the end of the day, you just have to pray to God for guidance, because the fact that you raised your children in Nigeria doesn't mean that it will still turn out well at the end of the day. So raising children is mostly by the grace of God. Abby?
Yes, you have to be intentional too.
You can't freestyle.
You cannot.
Nothing like freestyling with parenting.
No, you can't freestyle.
How is she finding the weather pattern in the UK, especially being there in winter? How does she feel about having a grandchild? How did she react when you told her that you are pregnant?
Well, the weather first. It's not my first experience with winter. I lived in the US for a while, so I've experienced winter too. Although the bones are getting old, so yes, winter is a bit
It's a bit different
now.
yeah.
Yes, and it's a bit gloomy. The weather is a bit gloomier.
That's the thing with the UK. The sun doesn't shine too much in this country, so it makes the day look very dull more often
And
than
even
not.
though we have shorter days now, there are some times when you have shorter days, but the weather is still not as gloomy. But UK weather has a way of depressing you.
You just feel very down. The
Yeah.
sun doesn't shine, everything. That's why seasonal depression is actually a thing in this country, just because of how the weather can look. It just looks very moody, and ultimately can make you feel moody as well. How does she feel about having a grandchild?
It's an honor. God has honored me, and I'm not even saying it lightly. I feel honored because it's not everybody that has the privilege to be a grandmom. So we are glam and we are grand.
For various reasons about even not having the privilege, people die before they become grandmothers. Maybe their children get married and they can't get pregnant. It's child having a child or having a grandchild is not a blessing that is light.
It's not light.
So it's definitely something to feel very, very grateful about.
And then when you are that glamorous too, is it? Wow.
Glamour.
Glam and grand.
Glam and grand.
Yes.
Not granny.
No. Granny is when you're a great grandmom.
So maybe when Keaton has her daughter,
I'll become a granny.
No, granny, not granny.
Granny is when Keaton's child now
Now
has,
has.
and then you become granny.
Okay, how did she react when you told her that you are pregnant?
Okay, this is it. She got married in 2019, and like every African parent, we were expecting to see the budge, and then it didn't come. I called her. When you come, we didn't get married for you not to get pregnant. We need this pregnancy. She went, "Oh, mommy, no, 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 no." So we started praying about it. Yes, your
You-
mother-in-law and I, yes, it became a prayer point that God, please enter their heart. Let them be pregnant. Let them be pregnant
Blood
in the
of
name of
Jesus.
Jesus. In the name.
I did not know that you were. Are you joking?
I'm
Say the
not even
truth.
joking. We prayed about it. We did. And so when she said, "Mommy, I am pregnant," it was a hallelujah moment for me. It was a real hallelujah moment for me. I was looking at signs of pregnancy. I didn't see, and I was
That's
like,
how when I upload my video, mommy will call me, "Are you pregnant?"
"Are you
Maybe
sure?"
I've just gained a little weight. My mommy is the number one womb watcher in this life.
Number one. Number one.
Number if I upload a video and maybe I've gained weight, you say,
Number one.
"You're looking pregnant. Are you pregnant?"
Number one.
Wow.
Without shame.
African grandmothers.
No shame.
Next question is from Enyolua, and she asks, what does she like about you the most?
Oh, well, there's nothing I don't like about you, really.
What do you like the most?
You have empathy.
Do I?
Much as hard as it seems to believe, yes, you do. You have empathy, and you really do have empathy. I like that about you. But then it's not only you, all of you, all your siblings.
Mm,
I think you've been a good firstborn.
mm.
And so because of that, your siblings look up to you and they want to follow suit.
That's
So
how my youngest sister told me I'm her role model. I say, he?
role model.
Role model kwa? Biko, biko, biko. Because I'm 28 and she's 18. She say role model. I say, role what?
But really, they look up to you, and that's because you've been a good big sister. So I like that about you, that you have empathy. I also like the fact that, really, I shouldn't say this on camera, but
What?
I will. I never knew that you could be loving until Kito came along.
I'm just going to say this, but I'm not the nicest person in the world. I know that sometimes you guys don't know me, so you might think that I'm very nice,
You
and
are.
I'm not the nicest person in the world. That's just the truth of the matter. I'm self-aware to the point that I know that I can be nicer. And I can also be more compassionate. But ever since I gave birth,
You've been nice.
I've become significantly nicer,
Nicer.
significantly more compassionate. I
Mm.
don't know, it's just there's something about having a child that unlocks a new level of
Love.
love in your heart, really.
Really.
Next question says, how did you raise a confident and self-aware female? Give us girl mom tips, please.
Well, this is this is a funny one, because really I am intentional about raising children. I am, but I'm not the strictest. I think it's a balance of both. My husband has been he's an extremely strict father, With him, you go by the rules
Mm,
and all. And he doesn't really give that chance of maybe not.
mm-mm.
He's not a flexible parent.
No.
I'm very flexible. And so I think the balance just came between the two of us. Like when I was growing up too, my mom was the very, very stern mom. And my dad was just, I could count the number of times my father beat me on one hand. And my father really didn't beat us. And that was just it. So I grew up like that.
Mm.
And thank God for your daddy. I think he just brought the balance.
Honestly, because I think if it was just my mom,
Ah,
we would have turned out to be very spoiled.
ah.
But my dad is very strict, so he was the yin to the yang.
Thank you, Daddy Fafora.
He was the balancing of the equation.
Yes.
Otherwise, I think it would have you really need a balance. I think that's why it's always more ideal if possible to have both father and mother, because then they provide a balance, and then balance each other out, which I think is what played out.
Yes.
Really. Gloria says honey bunch. Love it. Thank you, Gloria. Next question is by Adeze, and she says, what are her 2 cents on motherhood and marriage? What values, principles have helped her shoulder the responsibilities of both?
I think we mentioned it before.
Yeah.
Yes. Principles, values, and all. Be submissive to your husband.
Why is this in
Submissive.
echo?
It may be a bit hard, because both of you are from different backgrounds, and
Mm-hmm.
then you merge and there'll be a friction,
Mm.
and then it will run smooth.
Mm.
So once allow it to run smooth after the friction, because one has to be intentional about the roles each person plays.
Mm.
Yes, so it's not I shan't agree, I shan't agree. If
Mm.
you go the I shan't agree way, then you would really have nothing achieved. Be in prayer. Let your spirit always be in prayer.
Next question is, what's that one lie your kids used to tell you that you always knew was a lie?
That's a difficult question to answer, because I look back and really, you don't lie.
Mm.
uh,
Oh.
none of you
Oh.
none of you would lie to me about anything, but then maybe that was because you felt comfortable
Mm.
talking with me,
Mm.
so I really never caught you lying, or none.
Mm.
There was no lie.
Okay. His next question is the culture shock she had experienced since she relocated to the UK. Funny how we've been here before Keaton, but she got a name before us. No vex, so now you have a name. It's Honey Bunch, that is your name. Anyways, the question is, what are the culture shocks she has experienced since she relocated to the UK?
Well, they this one came as, I've never really lived in the UK before, so when they want to help you, they ask for your permission.
Mm.
That one was a pleasant one. Like the
Yes,
day we were
like
going
we're
for,
traveling and they helped us to carry the suitcase.
they'll ask you, "Do you mind if I help?" And I'm like, "You don't need to ask me. Please
Please
help."
help.
So that one was it, and
And how willing they are to help.
they are very, very polite.
Mm.
Maybe low key they could be,
Sarcastic with their politeness.
but they are very polite, most often
More
than
often
not.
than not. Yeah.
Yes, they are very polite. Yeah. So that is very, very contrasting
Mm.
to what we have in Africa.
Next question is from Sawaye. I'm sorry, I don't think that's how it's pronounced, but I think that's how I can read it. Sawaye. And she asks, how did she feel when you told her you were pregnant? I think you've already spoken
Yes, we've
about this.
spoken
Yeah.
about this.
Next question is from Salome, and she asks, what were her thoughts when you broke your decision to marry to her?
I was happy because I already knew Tolu, and I already knew that he was a good person. So I was happy when she told me that she wanted to get married. And the marriage was immediately after her house job. So it wasn't a raised prayer point
Mm.
before God did it. So I was very happy.
How did she feel when you gave birth without her being present?
I was a bit overwhelmed. I was a bit overwhelmed because seeing how the pregnancy went, the shortness of breath, the swollen feet, and
Mm.
all, I was a bit apprehensive. So, as if I'm there, something else,
Your presence wouldn't have made
it
any
wouldn't have
difference.
made. And when at a stage when you were like, my mommy isn't here, I called you and I said, Onyeka, I'm not the oxygen you breathe.
Yeah.
I told you, I'm not your oxygen. God is, and God came through. So, yes,
Yeah.
that's it.
Oh. Oh. Anyways, next question is from Aviola, and she asked, hello, Grandma Kiton. How have you been enjoying UK? What are the childhood memories you remember having with Inko, and what makes Inko special? How many how many siblings does she have, ma?
Well, childhood
Did you say
memories.
special?
I said special, aqua. Awesome, special.
Awesome, special.
All the children are special. Like I told you, they look up to her and they are following her footsteps. So that is a great one for me. I am grateful to God. Childhood memories about Onyiko. She always wanted to be perfect in everything, and then she would not give credit to anybody for teaching her anything.
Yes, like I'll say I taught myself how to knit.
Yes. And if she did her homework, and of course I would
But I taught
assist.
myself.
What about the times I'll help you with your math?
Maybe I did not understand it at that moment. And
And
then
then
I
you
now
did
went
it.
back and taught myself.
She will say, if you say, Oyinkan, who taught you this? She'll say, I taught myself. Wow, it was her daddy that
An
brought it to
interesting moment.
it was her daddy that brought it to my attention that you ask her who taught her, she'll say, and then I asked her, oh, Inko, this is nice. Who taught you? And she'll say, I taught myself. That was very interesting. And then she had this low key competitive
Mm.
nature. You wouldn't know that she's competing, but she is.
Who did I
Yes,
compete with?
in your primary school,
Oh.
you were always wanting to get that
But I
prize,
wasn't still getting it.
but it made you a better student because you
Because
were
the other people, I
striving.
was trying, but the other people were better.
No, you were all good. All of you
I
were
was still a
perfect.
distinction student in primary school, no doubt.
And in secondary
And
school too.
was I distinction in
Yes, in
secondary?
all the core subjects, you were a distinction
Yeah, I would
student.
say, but I was definitely above average in secondary school. I was a distinction student in primary school, but I wanted to be the first, and
Infant
I
Jesus did not.
wasn't.
Infant Jesus did not allow.
I wish I could tell Gito that I used to be first all through my primary. And maybe I'm still going to tell her.
Your
How would
report,
she know?
no, she'll know. Your report cards are at home, tucked away cleanly in that portmanteau.
Anyways, next question is how many siblings do I have? How many siblings do I have?
Well, with Onyeko 4, so she has three
I have four
siblings.
siblings.
You have three
Uh,
siblings.
three siblings.
Mm.
Okay. Next question is what was her reaction or take when you first told her of your relocation plans? Was she scared? Was she instantly supportive? If not, how did you get her to buy into your dreams? I think we've answered this already. She was
I was instantly
instantly
supportive.
supportive. Were you scared?
No, no, no. I was more scared of Nigeria.
Mm,
I was more scared of Nigeria. God will help us.
God will help us.
Amen.
The last question that we're going to be answering is from the Living Show, and she asks, "We want to know the three top childhood moments of you that she can remember: the good, the not so good, and all."
Three childhood moments. One that comes very, very vividly to my mind is the day you had this fire
The burn.
burn.
I have a burn on my arm. It's not very
It's not so
obvious
obvious
on
again.
camera anymore.
The
It's on
generator
my
house was burning. The generator house was burning, and we wanted to
quench
quench
the
the
fire.
fire. Yes, so she just ran and
In my mind, I was superhero. I took
Voltron.
a bucket of water in my mind. Let me try and quench the fire. The fire was a big fire because it was a generator that was burning. So you can imagine how big the fire was. And obviously, my dad had already told me to stay away, but I wanted to help because everybody was helping, and I seemed like I wasn't. It looked like I wasn't doing anything. So I took a bucket of water to try to quench the fire, and then I ran past the fire, and it burnt me from somewhere around here all the way to somewhere around here. But obviously, I was very young, so the scar has really healed. What you can mostly see is just a dark
Pigment.
pigmentation. It didn't leave any scar, just a darkness around that area.
And then this one came when you were a bit older, when we had this accident
Okay.
that you said we were talking, and I said, how are you? And you said when they told you that we had the
That I would have
accident.
preferred to be inside the car so that we can all die together.
God forbid, God forbid. And then she said, oh, well, since I wasn't in the car, maybe I'll start selling tomatoes and pepper in the market to see my siblings through school. No,
That is it.
that really got me.
So the thing is, when I was in 100 level, my parents had a car accident, and my mom has a scar on her forehead as a result of the accident. She broke her arm bone and her forearm of her right
Right.
arm. Yeah, so her right arm and her forearm is broken, and she had to have surgery for it. So she has obviously a scar there, and she has titanium plates and screws inside her arm.
I'm titanium.
I am titanium. Anyways, she also has a scar on her forehead because she banged her head into
The
the
wings.
windscreen. My dad, on the other hand, doesn't. He just has a scar on his wrist. Is that wrist? Is it like his this part? I don't know what it's called, but that's where he has a scar. So they were coming to Ibadan to pick me from school because we had already finished session. And I think they were also wanting to go to Lagos for visa. So they want the main aim was to go to Lagos, but since I had finished school, they wanted to just pass through Ibadan to pick me and then we'll all go to Lagos. And then in Benin, on that Benin bypass, they had an accident and the car somersaulted a few times and she banged her head and everything. So I used to monitor their trip. Usually I would call them every couple of hours to ask where they were. And then when I called them and they did not answer, I was like, what's happening? I called again. Next thing my daddy picked up the phone and said, oh, you better be thanking God. Oh, we just had an accident. I said,
You better be thanking awesome. You better please. By default, I like saying awesome. So please bear with me.
awesome, you better be thanking God. I said he now ended the call. I now called again because I wasn't really sure what I heard. So I called again, but he didn't answer the call this time around. It was a police officer that answered the call, and the police officer was now saying that they cannot talk to me. I said, what do you mean they cannot talk to me right now? That what let them give the phone to my mommy. He said she cannot talk right now. I say, hey God,
Awesome.
she cannot talk right now. What does that mean? Blood of Jesus. I said, no, she must talk. She must talk. Please give her the phone. She said, okay, wait first. I was now patiently waiting to hear her voice. She was not talking like this. I was like, why are you talking like that? She said, I have something on my neck. Obviously, now I know that it was a C-spine collar that they put on her neck because obviously she seemed the most bruised. So it was just trying to manage the incident from the point of accident. So just like first aid that they put a C-spine collar to stabilize her neck. Now I know, but then I didn't know because I was in 100 level. I was like, what's that they put on your neck? Anyways, at that point, I was not thinking because obviously, it's not everybody that dies immediately after a car crash, after an accident. So I was not thinking, God, is this how I'll become an orphan? What if they go and die later? And then I'll now have to go and be selling tomato and pepper on the streets. I'll drop out of school and I'll not become a doctor anymore. I'll be selling tomatoes so I can finish paying for my siblings' school fees and they can at least finish secondary school. Oh God, that's
It was very emotional.
yes, it was.
I was very emotional when you told me.
Yes, and I was also wishing that I was inside the car too, so that in case they are dying, the three of us would just die together. That's what I was thinking at that point. But I am just happy that everything turned out the way it did, and we didn't have to experience
And at this point, please, I would like to shout out to Mommy KG.
Yeah,
thank you so much for being a wonderful sister.
Yeah, that's my mom's best friend. She was amazing because she was like my guardian in Ibadan at the time. She used to live in Ibadan. She still lives in Ibadan. She was my guardian there. She took me. I called her immediately and told her what had happened. She was shocked. So she came. I think she came to pick me, or I went to her house. And then the next day, and yes, the next day we just entered Ife Tinachi in Ibadan and started coming to Benin, the UBTH hospital, to come and see her. So she left everything very impromptu and started traveling down to Benin to come and see her with me. Obviously, it was all just a really emotional time.
Thank you, Mommy KG. Thank you, Sheung. Both of them were just so selfless in taking care of the situation as much as they could.
Yeah, and I donated blood that she didn't end up needing for the surgery, but I was willing to give her my blood.
Your blood would have been flowing.
My blood would have been flowing through her veins, but she didn't end up needing the blood, so we thank God. It has gone to somebody else who needed it.
Yes. So that's it.
Yeah, so that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed the video. It was a really nice chit chat session, right?
It was very nice. Although it still seems strange. There is no audience.
You see the audience when they start leaving their comments.
Okay, please leave comments. Let me know how it went.
Yeah.
And if you still want another one, let me know. Let us know.
Yeah. So we can do another one. Maybe I'll be making her up and we'll be answering a few questions. Maybe. Sorry that the lighting has changed as well. This is UK. The
UK weather happens.
It happens and the light just moves mad sometimes. But yeah. Yeah, say your bye-bye. Say it. Okay, guys. Bye. Like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Bye bye.